Interesting statement from someone you know well. Grant Hill said that Kevin Durant is the greatest offensive basketball player, not just in the game right now, but of all time. Jalen Rose, do you agree with Mr. Hill's assessment of Kevin Durant?
I love Grant Hill. As a matter of fact, we're 13 and under AAU. We played against Reston, Virginia. We couldn't get the ball across half court. All the way through college, where he beat my team every time, including the championship. I love him. Got his number in my phone. He always hooked me up when I go to Hawks games. However, when we watch the greatness of Kevin Durant, it's hard not to get enamored when you see him and say that he's the greatest scorer of all time. Now, he may be the most versatile scorer of all time. In particular, his ability to shoot the three with efficiency. That's what's going to separate him, is because he now stars in the three-point era. And when you look back at the history of the game, he's a player that has a legitimate chance to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So he's in the family of all-time great scorers, ain't no question. However, I got to get out the history books for everybody. There are unique buckets that have walked the face of this earth that have played in the NBA. So a line of demarcation, I'll go to 50-point games.
Okay.
The guys that have laced up sneakers, Jacoby, and have scored at least 50 points in NBA games. Look at Wilt Chamberlain. Does that say 118 times?
118, game high 100.
Okay, so that's all of those other four combined, right? So that means he have to be in there. Look about Michael Jordan, 31 times. Why people always leave out the Black Mamba in this conversation? Do you remember that time when Black Mamba averaged like 40 for like a quarter of the season?
It's like a month and a half, yeah.
And another measurement of scoring title of great scores is scoring titles. Kevin Durant has 4 scoring titles. Michael Jordan has 10 scoring titles. And so again, I know Kevin Durant is the most efficient 6'11", 7-foot scorer that we've seen, and he's going to go down in this conversation. But let's not dismiss the people that some of us have seen that have done it before KD.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. KD deserves to be in this conversation, and there's a recency bias here because we watched what KD did with the Nets. I think people are celebrating Giannis this offseason, but forget what Kevin Durant did in this playoff run. Watch what he did with Team USA, and it looks different when you watch Kevin Durant play. It just looks different from anyone else we've seen before. His fluidity, his handle, his jumper, and his size and length, it looks different, so I can understand why those things would come out of Grant Hill's mouth. But I promise you, if you ask him again, if you texted him right now, Jalen, and said, do you really think Kevin Durant's the greatest offensive player of all time? He'd be like, no, I was just talking. That's what he would say. I promise you, he doesn't think of all time.
And also, don't underestimate something else. And put the graphic back up there. There's something called career highs that I want y'all to pay attention to. Kevin Durant's career high is 54 points. Do you see Elgin Baylor's? You see Elgin Baylor's career high?
I see
Kobe's.
I see Kobe's.
Right? You see Kobe's career high? You see Wilt's career high? You see Michael Jordan's career high is 69 points,
69 points.
Like there's been some people that have walked the face of this earth, ladies and gentlemen, that have been prolific scorers. You probably just didn't get a chance to see them with your own 2 eyes. And here's a word that I'm going to challenge young people not to say. Just because I'm a couple of years your elder and I don't agree with you, it doesn't mean that I'm hating. Oh man, that word gets used so wrong. We're not hating. We're just pointing out the facts that there have been people that have scored more 50-point games and had more higher career highs than the great Slim Reaper shooting trays from the suburbs, Kevin Durant.
Legends and mayors here, but more importantly, Jalen and Jacoby are here. Appreciate you joining me, my brother.
We're going to have the very special Jalen Rose Leadership Academy Jaguars tell us what we do here on Jalen and Jacoby.
We get it, people! What They won't.
We are live from the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy golf outing in Detroit, Michigan. A lot of Hall of Famers here, a lot of buckets here, and a lot of charity work being done for Detroit. Jalen, we might even have a special guest join us later on in the program, one of these Hall of Famers.
I'm hearing one of the Hall of Famers, Calvin Megatron Johnson, is going to join the show.
That's right. We're going to start with the NFL. We had a full slate of preseason games this weekend and a lot of quarterback controversy, settled or not settled, but there's certainly some controversy in Chicago. Let's listen to the two quarterbacks vying for QB1 for the Bears.
You know, they want to see a good product out there. I didn't hear any boos after the touchdown pass that I threw. You know, hopefully they'll be cheering a lot.
You know, the fans are awesome, getting me out there, but they also have to realize, you know, Andy's a human being too. Andy's out there on the field right now. So I really just think it's kind of disrespectful to Andy, you know, them cheering my name out like that.
Jalen, you've always said that the most popular person in any city is the backup quarterback. That seems to be the case in Chicago. How uncomfortable will this get as the season starts?
So I'm shaking my head because how did Justin Fields get more mature than me? Like, seriously, here's a guy that's telling the fans, don't cheer my name because the backup / veteran quarterback Andy Dalton is out on the field. Like, I applaud him for doing that. And the thing about the Bears situation is we know who their future is. You and I already talked about they haven't had a 4,000-yard passer in the history of the franchise. They haven't had somebody throw for 30 TDs. I think that guy ultimately is going to be Justin Fields. He's not going to be the week one starter, but we know at some point that's going to be his job. But he got stuck. They got to protect him, dog. Did you see him get hit?
Yeah.
He got stuck,
he got hit hard. He got hit hard.
They got to protect him. I'll say that. They got to protect homeboy.
Well, and Andy Dalton did have a touchdown, and he was not booed during that touchdown. However, Andy Dalton did not look great in this, and Justin Fields just has a much higher ceiling. And when you say that he's more mature than you, Jalen Rose, you have to set the bar higher than that because you're one of the least mature people in their mid-40s that I've ever met. There's a lot of discussion about the quarterback position in Chicago, but there's also a bit of a quarterback controversy brewing out west in the Bay Area. This weekend, we got to look at Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Jalen Rose, what do you think about the quarterback spot for the 49ers?
The same thing, Jacoby. You know how this works. When you take a quarterback in the first round, unless you got Aaron Rodgers, he's going to play definitely within the first or second season. And so we know this is going to be Trey's job. We know that's going to be Justin's job. But the key is win. And what these situations have to now navigate is you don't want to just throw them out there and not have them ready at the beginning of the season. So you start the veteran, no different than the Patriots situation. You start Cam Newton, you start Jimmy Garoppolo, you allow the young fella to learn the playbook, and then when you feel like he's ready and or if the veteran struggles, that's when you get him out there.
Well, there still are a couple other quarterbacks that still are to be decided who's going to be the week one starter. One of those takes the field tonight. You and I both believe that the best option for the Saints at quarterback is Jameis Winston. However, they still have not named him the week one starter. They take the field tonight against the Jaguars. Do you think Jameis will establish himself as the week one starter in New Orleans?
I definitely think he's going to be the week one starter. Don't be surprised if there are a lot of snaps with both of those guys. He and Taysom Hill will be on the field together. But Jameis is the established pocket passer. We've seen him throw for 30 touchdowns. Now, we've seen him throw for 30 interceptions too, but that wasn't when he was playing for this coach. So it's going to be interesting to see how Sean Payton tries to get the most out of the big arm that Jameis has. I think people underestimate the fact that he put up some big statistical yards while he was a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as their quarterback. So now you bring him to this opportunity. Now, no Michael Thomas, though. So now it's going to be relying on a lot on Alvin Kamara, obviously out of the backfield. He's a guy you can throw it to out of the backfield. But I'm excited to see a rejuvenated version of Jameis Winston.
Absolutely. I think that Jameis Winston will be the quarterback throughout this entire season. I think a lot of these teams that we're discussing will see two quarterbacks start at various points in the season, but I think Jameis will establish himself as the quarterback for New Orleans, and they'll use Taysom Hill as they have in sort of wildcat, gimmicky type situations. They are playing the Jaguars, who picked #1 overall Trevor Lawrence, who himself is also in a quarterback battle with Gardner Minshew. Jalen Rose, do you think that the Jags' starting quarterback will be established this evening?
I just like that we're talking about Minshew potentially starting in his play and not his handlebar mustache. You know what I'm saying? Let's focus on him on the field. But in all honesty, here's a situation where you don't do Peyton Manning 2021 and put Trevor Lawrence out there and get him killed. Don't do that. Don't do Troy Aikman 2021 and put him out there to get killed. Not in week 1. Not that offensive line. Okay? You allow him, just like I mentioned with the other guys, to ease his way into it. He's going to have plenty of time, plenty of years to be their starting quarterback.
We are in Detroit celebrating your work with the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy here in the city of Detroit. We're at the Detroit Golf Club here for the golf tournament, and there was something big that happened in the world of Detroit sports. It was Miguel Cabrera hitting his 500th home run in a win, an extra innings win for the Tigers. Jalen Rose, what do you think about Miggy's milestone?
Miggy, can't you see? See, in the history of baseball, the Detroit Tigers have some of the greatest and most storied participants to ever play Major League Baseball. And this is the first time, Jacoby, we've had a player hit his 500th home run while wearing our uniform. I'm happy for him. He continues to put on for the city. He's a terrific future Hall of Fame player, and I'm glad to see him celebrate.
Jalen Rose, your Lions took the field in preseason, and they got waxed. I don't care what the final score says. They could not score, and Big Ben and the Steelers looked pretty good doing it. Will we have a former Lion join us right after the break? Jalen, who is joining us live from the golf event? Jalen Jacoby, Jalen Rose, who is joining us on the program right now, live from the golf event?
Our next guest is a newly cemented Hall of Famer. You guys know him as Calvin Johnson. However, us Detroit Lions fans affectionately know our next guest as Megatron. Welcome to the show, family.
Hey, good to see y'all, man. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you joining us. I must ask you this, as somebody that watched every snap of your career. What are some of the most memorable plays and or games that you played in?
I definitely have to say when I went 329 against Dallas here at home, was able to do that here for the home team. In any game, I went for like 200. I mean, my first playoff game, went bananas. Man, any Thanksgiving game, yeah, take your pick.
Well, throwing.
You hear that, Jacob? You hear that,
He said, take your pick. He said one of my many 200-yard games. One of those. Just pick from a bunch of those. I got a gang of 200-yard games. You just pick from those. Now, on the throwing end of a lot of those yards was Matthew Stafford, who now sort of has left the Lions. What do you think about his future in Los Angeles with the Rams?
Oh, man, I can't be more happy for Matthew because he spends a lot of time in Cali. In the off season, he gets out there, so he's at home really right now. I mean, he's from Texas. You know, he went to college in Georgia, spent a lot of his professional career here in Detroit. But I know he loves Cali. They got a beautiful stadium out there. You got a Cali sunshine. My guy's loving it out there.
I hope he stays healthy, and I agree with you. I anticipate he's going to have a huge season. But I must ask you this, because I know you stay plugged into the game. Who are some of the receivers that you enjoy watching in today's game?
My list isn't very long. It's probably like 4 or 5 receivers. You know, you got Julio. I like watching my guy Chris Godwin because I was able to work with him a little bit down there in Tampa. I got my guy D-Hop. You know, I think he has some of the best hands in the league right now. My guy in Green Bay. What's his name?
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams,
Yes,
man. I've able to
indeed.
see him from when he was a rookie, you know, to see him to where he's grown to now. You know, it's been great to see the evolution there.
I mean, we all knew it was going to happen. It was inevitable that you would end up in the Hall of Fame. But what did it feel like during the ceremony, seeing the bust and officially being a Hall of Famer?
I think the biggest thing about that whole weekend, man, was being taken in by all the big brothers. You know, that's all I call all the legends, man. Just to have them take me in and welcome me in. You know, just to be able to spend time, talk to them, learn just a bunch of history. You know, it's just awesome. There's no words for it.
You definitely deserve it. And as a native Detroiter, I have to ask you this. I once asked the same thing to Barry Sanders. He unceremoniously retired, and he didn't see eye to eye with the organization, and I'm glad that they got a chance to see eye to eye. Do you anticipate you and the organization at some point to be able to see eye to eye? Because I'd love to see you back at some games.
You know what? You know, I love to be around the team, be around the organization, just really be around the players. So I'm not going to close that book. You know, I'm not going to burn the bridge. Not at all.
So you are in great shape. Just seeing you out here on the golf course today, I'm like, that dude looks like he could go right back in the league tomorrow. Are you ever throwing the ball around the backyard or watching a game and miss it and want to come back?
Man, I'm done, man. Everybody keeps saying that today. Like, you go back and play. But I got to stay in shape, man. I can't be out here being sloppy, man. I can't be out here sloppy with it, man. I gotta look good I gotta look good in this polo and golf shorts out here on the golf course, man.
I have to ask you this. As a former collegiate athlete, you go by the name of Megatron. What do you feel about the name, image, and likeness that now collegiate athletes get the chance to take advantage of?
I think it's awesome that collegiate athletes have the opportunity, to help their families. But, I'm not sure how that system works all the way. If it's one player that gets it or if it's spread amongst, the guys on the team. So I have to learn a little bit more about it. I haven't just recently heard about it, but I haven't really delved too much into it to learn and see how that works. But this is a great thing for guys that are coming up to be able to support themselves and their family. So, the university's getting that money, so might as well put it on give it back to some of the players who they're making the money off of their backs.
That's really well put. And Jalen Rose is very optimistic about the Detroit Lions this season. I think he said something about 11 wins or something. But new head coach Dan Campbell has had some very interesting press conference comments where he was talking about biting kneecaps and the rest. What do you think about Dan Campbell's leadership approach, I'll call it?
We're going to get up, and on the way
up,
that's Dan.
I played with Dan, so I think the guys will respect it because, he's been where they are. Dan, man, if I would tell Dan something, man, I was like, man, just think about what you're about to say. He's been letting some crazy stuff fly, man. It's actually hilarious to me from the outside in. I'm just hoping that his guys take it the same way and are energized by it. Hey, 11 wins, wishful thinking, but hey, you never know. Miracles can happen.
You heard that, Jacoby. You heard that double-digit win. That's how we do it in the D. And in all honesty, I love you, my brother. Thank you very much for joining us at the golf outing today. Thank you for all of the years that you put on the field in Detroit, how you put on for the community. You play each one of your games with us, and we're forever grateful. I'm forever grateful, my brother.
Truly appreciate it, guys. Much respect. Thank you.
We'll be back with more from the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy Golf